So do you want to be a farrier? Do you want to shoe a horse? Grab some horseshoes, grab a hammer, and let's go. Stop! Even though most farriers are self-employed, not just anyone can shoe horses. Farriery is a regulated trade, which means horse owners can trust their farrier to do a good job, and I imagine the horses appreciate it too. So who calls the shots? Who gives me my orders? Well, the answer to this lies way back in the midst of time, but stick around and we'll bring it right up to date. Let's go. I don't know about you, but when I think of the Middle Ages, I think of war, famine, plague, and mud. Life was nasty, short, and brutish, and that was just for the humans. I'm sure it was even worse for the poor animals. It was around this time that the Worshipful Company of Farriers was founded, 1356 to be precise. It was also about this time that lurchers, like Jasper, were first being bred. So that's two good things to come out of this time. The Worshipful Company of Farriers was founded to manage the trade and also to protect the welfare of horses and donkeys. This sounds like a really modern concern, but horses were so important to society back then. They were used on farms for agriculture, they got messages from one end of the country to another, and they were a key component in any self-respecting army. The truth is, if horses weren't looked after, society could have broken down. These days though, it's a lot more about eating meals in big fancy halls and wearing fur gowns that are surely far too hot for summer. Amazingly though, the Worshipful Company of Farriers are one of the few companies that still take a keen interest in industry. The exams that I took 6 years ago were actually set by the Worshipful Company. The WCF offer training and encouragement to farriers of all levels, from apprentices just starting out to fellows speaking on Farriery all across the world. I've added a link in the description below. Some farriers choose to further their qualification and become an associate or a fellow of the Worshipful Company. For me personally though, I took another route and got a degree in Farriery up at Myerscough College, but more of that on another video. So, now that I'm qualified and I've got no intention of taking any more exams, does that mean I'm free to do what I want? Still, no. This is where the Farriers Registration Council come in. Anyone who practices as a farrier must be registered with the Farriers Registration Council, as they regulate the industry. They've even got a website that ends in gov.uk, so they must be pretty important. Full disclosure, the FRC do scare us farriers a little bit, but they do an important job, and they stop horses from suffering from untrained and unqualified practitioners. Here in the UK, the only people that can practice farriery are those that are registered with the FRC. And it's not just a matter of getting on the list once and then you're safe. There's a code of conduct. And if you don't abide by it, essentially, we're out of a job. So although they can't tell me when to take my lunch break or what order to shoe horses in, they can dictate whether I shoe horses at all. There are other organisations that I might engage with from time to time, but they don't really affect how I operate as a business. Organisations such as the British Farriers and Blacksmith Association and the Farriers Foundation, but they're more here to support us and help us through our careers. Perhaps by directing us to new developments and technologies, to hosting horseshoeing competitions, to providing financial support should we find ourselves injured and unable to work. I'll provide links to these charities in the description below. I should probably also mention the 3 training establishments. These are the colleges that we attend throughout our apprenticeships, and sometimes even afterwards for further formal training. These are Warwickshire, Myerscough, and Herefordshire. I know that even after finishing my education here, I could pick up the phone if I had a problem and speak to any of the course tutors. Right, there's just one more organisation to introduce you to, and that's VetSkill. Just last year, they took over the organisation and running of the end of apprenticeship exams. The switch from the Worshipful Company of Farriers to VetSkill came as quite a surprise to most of us farriers. After all, that's a pretty big change in the Worshipful Company's 700-year history. I'd love to know what you think about the qualifications now being run by VetSkill in the comments. So that pretty much wraps things up. As a qualified farrier, I get to run my business because these big organisations can be confident that I know what I'm doing and that the horse's welfare is my top priority. So they ultimately decide whether I'm allowed to practice as a farrier. But don't tell Louis, because as far as he's concerned, I'm in charge. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.